Should dark romance have limits? Or should fiction be completely free? No boundaries, no restrictions, no moral rules. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. The same books that one reader calls empowering, another reader calls dangerous. So who's right? And more importantly, who gets to decide? Today we're talking about ethics, creative freedom, reader responsibility, and whether dark romance should have limits at all. Dark romance is built on intensity, power imbalances, morally gray characters, obsession, control, redemption. It explores emotions that are messy, uncomfortable, and sometimes controversial. And that's exactly why it sparks debate. Some readers argue it's just fiction. Anything should be allowed. Others believe certain themes cross a line. But what is the line? Is it different for everyone? Or should there be universal boundaries? Let's start with creative freedom. Fiction has always pushed limits. Horror explores fear. Thrillers explore violence. Tragedy explores loss. Dark romance explores emotional extremes. If we start restricting fiction too heavily, do we risk limiting storytelling itself? Writers often argue stories are not instruction manuals. They are explorations of human experience. And human experience isn't always comfortable. But here's the tension. Just because something can be written, does that mean it should? That's where things get complicated. Now let's shift perspective. What about reader responsibility? No one is forced to read dark romance. It's a choice. Some readers actively seek intense stories because they want emotional depth, psychological complexity, or high-stakes relationships. But with that freedom comes awareness. This is why content warnings matter, not to censor, but to inform. Because what feels thrilling to one reader may feel triggering to another. So maybe the question isn't, should dark romance have limits? Maybe it's, how do we balance freedom with responsibility? Let's talk about ethics. Critics of dark romance often worry that certain themes romanticize unhealthy dynamics. Supporters argue that fiction allows exploration without endorsement. And here's an important distinction. Reading about something is not the same as supporting it in real life. People watch crime shows without supporting crime. People read psychological thrillers without wanting real danger. So why does dark romance feel different to some people? Possibly because romance is emotional. It deals with relationships. And relationships feel personal, which makes the debate more intense. Now here's the deeper question. Should limits be personal or universal? Personal limits mean every reader decides what they are comfortable with. Universal limits mean certain themes should never be explored in romantic storytelling. But who decides those universal rules? Publishers, platforms, society, authors, and history shows us that limits often change over time. What was controversial 50 years ago may be normal now. And what feels normal now may be debated in the future. So are we talking about protecting readers or protecting comfort? There's a difference. Maybe the real solution isn't strict limits. Maybe it's awareness, clear labeling, honest marketing, respectful conversations. No shaming. Dark romance can exist. Criticism can exist. Discussion can exist. All at the same time. Fiction thrives when debate exists. But it collapses when conversation turns into attack. And maybe that's where maturity in reading communities really matters. So, should dark romance have limits? The honest answer might be, it depends on what we mean by limits. If limits mean informed choice, transparency, and respect, then yes. If limits mean silencing creative expression entirely, that becomes more complicated. At the end of the day, fiction is powerful, but readers are powerful too. And maybe the healthiest approach isn't control, it's conversation. Now I'm genuinely curious. Do you think dark romance should have clear boundaries? Or should fiction remain completely unrestricted? Let's have a respectful discussion in the comments, because this topic doesn't need outrage. It needs thought.